The following video for 2025 is possible in part by Mickey Mouse Clubhouse yes and Dora the Explorer no. Smurfing places, more like smurfing some Smurfberries. Oh my god, this episode from the Smurfs for 2021 sucks. Here are the reasons why I hate this episode in my opinion. The episode starts Papa Smurf and Timid walk through the Smurf forest as Papa Smurf finds a fine berry and shows it to Timid, only to figure out that he has gone under a log. Timid attempts to explain but ends up being too scared. Papa Smurf tells him to take his time, at least until Gargamel shows up and puts Papa Smurf in a bag. Timid runs away and Gargamel lets him escape as he says he'll be waiting for him. Timid tells Hefty, Brainy, and Vanity about Papa Smurf's capture and the four go to Gargamel's hovel. When they arrive, Hefty says they have to make a plan of attack and asks for ideas. Brainy offers an idea, but Hefty does not want to listen, and the moment Timid begins to open his mouth, Hefty immediately encourages him to speak up and Timid responds with nothing. Hefty asks Vanity, to which he replies with purple for the color for Gargamel's hovel. Hefty sees these ideas are not working and says they go in and attack Gargamel and Israel, but Brainy notices Papa Smurf is back. However, Papa Smurf is Gargamel. Hefty sees that Papa Smurf escaped by himself and he and Brainy make comments on how Gargamel is dumb. This angers Papa Smurf, Gargamel, and he says they should respect their enemies. He tells them that they should go back to the village and make it snappy. The three Smurfs go back to the village, where the Papa Smurf, Gargamel, is happy to be home and says he will get some rest in his lab. He goes to his house, except Vanity informs him that the house he is about to go in is Smurfette's house and tells him his house is the other way. Papa Smurf, Gargamel, understands and thanks Vanity, who he calls Thingamajig. See trivia below. Timid is about to say something, which is actually heavy information, but gets scared when Hefty, Vanity, and Brainy turn around and once again says nothing. Papa Smurf, Gargamel, walks into his lab and shuts the door while cackling evilly. He says he will finally have his revenge at last and will turn back into Gargamel with the potion he has in his hand. However, Dimwitty slams open the door and says they have the same fingers on each hand. This heavily annoys Papa Gargamel and he yells at Dimwitty as he runs out. Papa Gargamel sees that the antidote has broken and calls Dimwitty an idiot of a Smurf because he can't remember how to get back to the village. Just then, he realizes he can try to find a map of the forest so he can find it once he's back in his body again. He tries to find maps in the lab while Timid observes. When Papa Gargamel walks out the lab and finds Timid, he asks him where the maps are, but Timid is too shy to answer, so Papa Gargamel goes to ask the others. Papa Gargamel rings the village bell, where the Smurfs are summoned for him to demand the maps around the village. Brainy tells him first, they have to do the chores he assigned them, only to get booted out of the village. Smurfette asks Papa Gargamel if he is alright and before he almost insults her, he says he's fine and they should get the maps. Dimwitty informs Papa Gargamel that all of the maps were hidden in a safe place and Papa Gargamel pretends that he remembers and goes to get them. Smurfette is worried about Papa Smurf, Gargamel, and says they should bake a cake for him. She asks Timid if he's coming, but Timid says that he has to check something as she bids him goodbye. Papa Gargamel is getting more irritated since the Smurfs did not give him answers, and while he is talking, Timid observes again. When Papa Gargamel turns, he hides near a barrel. Farmer carries his wheelbarrow and greets Papa Gargamel and he waves back as he walks away. Timid tries to talk to this with Hefty, Vanity, and Brainy, but he is too shy to speak up. Hefty is more annoyed with Timid and how he tries to keep talking to them and Timid walks away. He goes to the river and yells about the idea of Papa Smurf being bewitched. He wants to get to the bottom of this and goes to Gargamel's hovel. While the Smurfs continue greeting him, Dimwitty tells Papa Smurf that he has found the maps, which is actually just a carrot. Much to his annoyance, he lies, tells him he is pleased, and asks him to get carrots in Gargamel's vegetable patch. Dimwitty leaves and immediately comes back, telling Papa Smurf that Farmer had hid the maps, more carrots, in his garden. Papa Gargamel groans. Timid arrives at Gargamel's hovel, where he goes inside and sees Gargamel, who is the real Papa Smurf, locked in a cage. Gargamel Papa sees Timid and tells him it's okay to see him and explained how Gargamel swapped their bodies. Gargamel Papa tells Timid to watch out for Israel and tells him to go, as he doesn't want a Smurf to get eaten because of him. Just then, Israel tries to eat Timid and gets cornered. At that corner, Gargamel Papa tells him to Smurf yourself, and he lightly punches Israel. This does not affect the cat at all, and he laughs until Gargamel Papa whacks him with the pan. He then tells Timid to get the key. Meanwhile, Gargamel is done with being a Smurf and says he will make a potion to lure the Smurfs to him. Suddenly, Chef comes to him and gives him his favorite cake, a sarsaparilla-flavored muffin. Papa Gargamel tries it and almost retches, much to Chef's disappointment, but he says it's great. Farmer notices he is not hungry, to which he is not surprised, and the Smurfs begin making jokes about him and Papa Gargamel says to stop. He tells them that they will all go to the forest to pick some sarsaparilla. Papa Gargamel, Brainy, Hefty, Vanity, Chef, Dimwitty, and Farmer are in the forest as Brainy asks if this is the way to the sarsaparilla field, to which Papa Gargamel replies with how they are taking a shortcut. Suddenly, Brainy spots Gargamel, Papa Smurf, and the 6 Smurfs scream. Gargamel Papa tells the Smurfs that he and Gargamel switched bodies and Papa Gargamel accidentally spills that he is Gargamel as the Smurfs gasp. Papa Gargamel says that he captured a Smurf, Timid, and that they must save him. Timid says to the Smurfs that Gargamel is Papa Smurf as the Smurfs gasp again. Papa Gargamel says to attack him but calls them Nimrods. Brainy realizes Papa Smurf would never say that and they are still questioning which Papa is the real one. Dimwitty suggests attacking both of them, to which Hefty tells him that's a terrible idea. Timid yells to stop and says only the real Papa Smurf would know the way to the village and asks where it is. Papa Gargamel points the left way while Gargamel Papa points the right way. This makes the Smurfs realize that the real Papa Smurf is Gargamel. The Smurfs attack the fake Papa as the real Papa says it's time to get his body back. Gargamel Papa goes to the hovel, where he greets Israel and tells him that he has a nice Smurf, who is Gargamel, for him to enjoy. Israel is overjoyed and begins to get Papa Gargamel, though Gargamel Papa makes him drink seasoning before he eats it. Israel begins to eat the Papa Gargamel starting it from the butt, but just as he is about to eat him, he turns back into Gargamel, who remarks that he hates the Smurfs. Meanwhile, Gargamel Papa drinks the potion and turns back into the real Papa Smurf. The Smurfs are relieved to see regular Papa Smurf, who himself says he couldn't do it without Timid, who hides in a log as everyone laughs. And that's how the episode goes. I don't know who likes this episode, but do you know who hates this episode? Mason/Mason and Ilya FTWEs and FTL. He hates this episode. So, Smurfing Places sucks. And so does House Call. Smurf Racers is 229,374 times better than Smurfing Places. End of rant.